Good afternoon. I'm Chris Scher, Communications Director of the Society of Broadcast Engineers, and welcome to the January 2026 SBE WEBxtra, the SBE chapter of the web. This is a monthly SBE meeting, usually presented on the third Monday of the month. The SBE is the Association for Broadcast and Multimedia Technology Professionals, with more than 4,000 members, mostly in the U.S., but also around the world. Broadcast engineers and technicians for some time have pondered the future of our trade, since it seems fewer and fewer younger people are joining our ranks. The SBE is aware of this and has taken steps to develop new talent. One of these efforts is the SBE Mentor Program. Another is the SBE Certified School Program. There are schools around the country that teach broadcast journalism and the technical aspects of electronic media. Each has its own curriculum, of course, and while many likely focus on the presentation side, there are people interested in the technical side. Today, I'm going to talk to the advisor of one school program in Liberty, Missouri, Jamie Munoz. But first, I have the SBE member update for January 19, 2026. There are lots of upcoming webinars by SBE on the calendar. On January 22nd, part 2 of the new Building the Broadcast IP Content Network Audio over IP is presented by Wayne Pesina. This webinar builds on the fundamentals presented in part 1 and takes an in-depth look at audio over IP for radio and TV stations, audio content transport that will include popular industry approaches AES 67, Dante, Livewire, and WheatNet. Part 3 of the series is streamed on February 26 and covers video over IP. Wayne Pesina will take an in-depth look at voice over IP, focusing on the industry SMPTE 2110 standard. And finally, part 4 of the Building the Broadcast IP Content Network series. Part 4 is Architecture and Integration. It will stream on March 2nd. Wayne applies the fundamentals and concepts previously presented with a focus on network architecture and integration of AOIP and ST2110 broadcast content in IP-based networks for production, radio, and TV stations. And as always, you can access the entire library of webinars by SBE presentations on demand. For more information on these and all of them, go to sbe.org/webinars. The next chapter exam window is in February, but the application deadline for that is now behind us. The next chapter exam window after that is, it's the next exam opportunity is in April at the NAB show. Apply for that by March 9. The next chapter exam window is in June. Apply to take an exam for that sitting by April 13. And if you don't want to wait, or if a local chapter exam is not convenient for you, or just not practical, private proctoring is available. More information on SBE certification is online at sbe.org/certification. You likely know that the SBE membership year runs April through March. Your renewal is due by April 1st. Most members renew online, and that option is available at any time. In January, most members will receive an email reminding you to renew. If we don't have an email address on file, you should get a postcard reminder. There's no need to wait, though, for the reminder. You can renew anytime. Pay with a credit card through our secure online payment system. And if you want to pay by check or need to submit an invoice, you can download the renewal form on the renewal page. The SBE will present an SBE Ennis workshop at the 2026 NAB show on April 22nd and 23rd. This is a change. It's at the end of the convention this year. It's a change from previous years. It's because there's another major event being held in Las Vegas, the opening weekend of the NAB convention. NAB show registration is open now. And that's your SBE member update for January 19, 2026. So as I was saying, one focus of the SBE elected leadership has been identifying the next generation of broadcast engineers. There are school programs around the world that teach broadcasting. We're going to step inside one of those programs today. KLHS Liberty High School in Missouri offers a course in broadcasting. This full-year practical arts credit and market value asset credit course focuses on hands-on aspects of journalism, including technical work, writing, production, and more. Staff members work together to produce a daily broadcast and live sports games on ESPN3. Well, good afternoon, Jamie. Thanks for joining me on the SBE WEBxtra. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Very good. So I learned about your program there at the Liberty School District through a local TV station, and I'm interested in hearing more about what you're doing and some of the work the students are doing. But let's start with you. First off, tell me about your role with the Liberty Schools and how long you've been there, and some things about you.
All right. Yes. I have been here. This is my eighth year at Liberty. I have had several other jobs with other schools, making their and producing their, starting up their broadcasting as well. I'm also in the state journalism programs here on the board as well for contests.
Very good. And the program, so you've been at the school for about 8 years, but I understand the program is older than that. It started a few years before at least.
Yes.
So that's great. Tell me a little bit about the curriculum, some of the classes the students can take. What's the progression from first walking in the door until graduation?
Yeah, so we have various classes in photography, photojournalism. We have yearbook, newspaper, online, podcast, and we have broadcasting. So what it looks like when kids walk through the door is, it's very basic. We start with laws, ethics, and we move on from there into, just putting together and being a good storyteller.
Well, that's where it really begins. That's the foundation of it all, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
So, um, so how do they start? What's their first responsibility, first assignment?
Yeah, the first responsibility is to become a good reporter, and that's to learn good research, find the right facts, find correct facts, talk to people, and interview. And how do you become a good interviewee and interviewer? From there, we put that story together from beginning to end. We rework it with our leadership and go over edits, and then it becomes, something that everyone in the school can see.
Excellent. And a lot of I see you have programs up on your YouTube channel.
Yes.
Do a lot of the material, or is some of the materials more in school, or where does all the material get used? I guess that's the better question to ask.
So, our broadcasting live show, we're one of the only schools that broadcasts 4 days a week, completely live, 8 minutes. They come in and they do a live show every single day. So it's new content, and it's to, really inform the kids at our school what's going on, create some school spirit, cohesiveness, but also it's for our community. A lot of parents watch our program just to kind of see what's going on. After that, we have, live sports that a lot of my kids really enjoy doing with ESPN. And, getting to work behind the scenes and on camera of that is really fun.
So live sports, home games, away games, both, some of
Home
each,
games.
all homes.
Home
Okay,
games, all the football games, and then we do various other games. Of course, right now we're into basketball. So we'll do
certainly.
5 men's, 5 women's games.
Okay, very good. Well, it's certainly a good assortment of experience opportunities in there. Um, and from what you've just told me, not everyone continues to pursue the on-air path, whether it's an interviewer, anchor, announcer, etc. That the other jobs come into play as well.
Oh, yes, definitely. There are a lot more jobs behind the scenes, and a lot of my kids don't like to be on camera, honestly. So, they like the director, technical director aspect of it. They like building graphics. They like, some kids wanted to create a podcast, and they've really learned a lot from doing that podcast and looking at other podcasts and what do I do there and working audio. That working the camera. There are a lot of kids who really enjoy that aspect of it, and that's what
Sure.
they want to go into.
And podcast skills directly correlate into radio, and
Mhm.
obviously the video and the television side. So it's a great natural progression. Are there any special programs you do throughout the year at various times that are not sports or not the daily, well, the 4 time a week program you mentioned?
Yes, we do a telethon. It's an
Oh,
all-day broadcast of, fun and games and different live events that we put on the entire day, and we raise money. We usually raise about $5,000 for some of our equipment. Last year we bought a new backdrop for our sports department, so it's a kind of a way for the kids to take ownership in what they're doing and to really buy in and, enjoy the program.
very good. The relationship you have with ESPN, how did that come about?
Yeah, so it was brokered through LTN. It's a local community cable company here.
Hmm.
They work, directly with high schools around the area, helping them to first produce sports, but they also help with community advertising. They help with that as well. And we have someone from LTN here, throughout every single day, helping our programs with all the technical questions that we have and getting all of our equipment up to date. We have so much really great equipment. It's crazy. I have people who walk in here all the time and they say this is better than what we have at a college or, at a small studio. So we have some really great equipment that we're very, very grateful for.
And is that do you get some equipment donated? Is it all purchased? I mean, I don't want to get into too many specifics if you don't want to get down that road, but where do you manage
Yeah.
to get some of the equipment and facilities you have?
So some of our local stuff is donated straight from KMBC 9 News. We have pedestals and lights from them. So whenever a station is changing out and making new, we have maybe some relationships with some of those people. We say, hey, we'll use that stuff. It's still really great. We also have a pretty big budget that our community helps us out with every year to buy and upgrade some of our equipment. So it's really nice.
That's great. That's great. We'll drop in some images here, maybe some video of the facility, kind of do a little tour. But tell me about some of what you have as far as facilities go, main studio, control room, etc.
hmm So in our control room, we have a replay machine. We have an audio board. We have a TriCaster, and we run some of our graphics off of a bigger graphics machine for our ESPN daily show. But we also have, like a smaller graphics machine for daily show graphics that we run off of a Mac computer.
Okay.
Uh, in our studio, we have a teleprompter. We have four cameras and we have two desks. We have a green screen and we have three other sets that
Okay.
the kids can kind of choose from.
All right. And production, how many, shall I say, workstations or editing stations or something like that?
So the kids are all one-to-one on their computers.
Ah, okay.
So they edit on their computers.
Okay.
We're fortunate we have Mac computers and our school provides Adobe. So they get all
Right.
the Adobe products free. They really enjoy that. They cut on Premiere for video.
Hmm.
We do Lightroom and Photoshop for our graphics. We work on
Sure.
InDesign for some of our yearbook side.
Right. Absolutely. I have background in print as well, so
Okay,
near and dear to my
perfect.
heart. So
Perfect.
wow. So yeah, I can understand why your students are very well prepared for the real world, shall we say, when they graduate or they decide to pursue this as a career. So that's fantastic. Do you find any of your students, you had mentioned, yes, not all of them do the on air and they get into the production and direction side. Do you find many of them have an interest in the deeper technical side, whether it's installation, maintenance, et cetera, of some of the equipment?
Yes, I actually have a couple of kids who are our crew kids who really try to work alongside with our LTN tech.
Hmm.
He showed them, from how to coil all of the cords correctly, because that actually, is a science, you
Uh-huh.
know. How to set up, those cameras and coils and put safety measures on all of those. How do you lay those down? Um, how do you set up and take down camera equipment? I do have a student right now who is up for an internship with LTN, and that's some sort of the things, that he wants to do.
Sure. Are there any famous alumni who have gone on to grander and greater things after leaving Liberty?
Yeah, so we do have people in the news right now. They weren't my students because
Hmm.
I have kids who are they're still in college.
Sure.
But I have kids who are at BYU directing their shows. I have people in film school in California.
Oh,
They, are always showing us different things that they've done, like, oh, look, check out this lighting class that I took. It was really neat, and they share those kinds of things with us. I have someone at K-State who's a sideline reporter. I have a couple of guys up in St. Joe who call sports. And I have uh oh, I just lost my train of thought.
That's okay. But needless to say, they're going on.
We're
They're
doing great
sticking
things.
to
Oh,
it.
I have a student who's now he's at the Royals.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's
Very
he's
good.
famous. He's all editing, he's graphics. You know, he just got that job. He just graduated, so we're really proud of him.
Very good. Excellent. So you had mentioned the program started before you became an employee of the district. Um, but I'm going to pick your brain anyway about starting a program similar to this, in case we have other educators in the area or that are watching who may think, hey, this is something I could get involved with. You already mentioned working with local television or cable operations. Um, what's some of your advice for the first steps as far as at least seeing if it's possible, and if so, moving forward?
Yes, I think, talking to other educators, the biggest pitfall, the biggest challenge that they have is money.
Hmm,
How do I get the money for this equipment?
sure.
So if, your school doesn't have a lot of funding or the community, I've been at a private school before. And so what we did is we did a silent auction and we had parents donate money for, different equipment that we needed. So that's always something that you can do. But if not, yes, I would definitely reach out to your local journalists in the area. They're always willing to help kids with either equipment or even just coming in to see what they do every day. I think it's
Mhm.
really great and it's inspiring for the kids to see that, they really love to do this. They do, but a lot of them are told, don't do it because, it's going to get phased out. And I don't believe that's true. I believe it's just changing,
Sure.
and we have to figure out how that's changing. And I think these kids can do it. They can find out how, we can use all of these skills into this new AI type social media world that we're moving into. I don't think journalism is going away. I think it's just different.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, yeah, it's we it's the SBE's been around for more than 50 years, so we've definitely seen the changes in the landscape, the technology, um, the operation, the whole mindset, even very different than it was when the society first was created. Is there anything else about the program you'd like to tout or brag about at this point?
I mean, my kids work really hard. I can't even take any of the credit. They can do that daily grind. They really appreciate it and they love it and they come back every year. They are very well rewarded. My yearbook just got nominated for a National Pacemaker Award, so
Oh,
that's really prestigious. That's just in the back of my mind. All of my kids have won, national awards. Programs have won national awards, overall awards, and individual. So, it's just as an educator, I'm pretty blessed. I think that you just have to start somewhere and you just have to find those
sure.
kids who really love it. You can start with something as easy as just cell phones. Just
Hmm.
video on your phone and write on your phone, even if you don't have those computers, because there are some free apps that will help you. And then just find some free curriculum online. And I think anyone can do this. I think it's really beneficial to the kids.
Great. So you mentioned the programming that's created. Some is on ESPN Plus.
Mhm.
There's some on YouTube. Where do we find it on YouTube?
So we're all KLHS_J's for my broadcasting team. That's you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. They're really trying to build their social media presence. But yeah, you can follow us there.
Very good. Any other program outlets that we need to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we have the Spectator Yearbook. We have the Bell newspaper. That's where our podcast is housed.
Oh,
If
okay.
you'd like to listen or see what the kids are doing there.
Available wherever you find your podcasts, I assume, right?
Yes, that is right. On Spotify.
The usual disclaimer. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, this has been interesting. And as I've said, I know some other programs around the country that other school districts around the country that have broadcasting related or broadcasting programs. We certainly would like to see more of them pop
Mhm.
up, and we certainly encourage those who are interested in what the SBE side of things is, the technical side of it all. And in fact, I may be contacting you about perhaps recruiting your students as student members
Yeah,
of the SBE. Um,
definitely.
love to get them involved in some of our chapters, and I'll throw this out for other chapters as well. To go out and find if there are schools in your area, by all means, make contact and approach them and see if their students can get involved because now your students can meet real world engineers working the technical side on our end. And while the SBE has a mentor program, I mean, sort of an unofficial, if you will, mentoring situation could arise as well. And we certainly encourage that too. So,
Yeah, I think it's very important because the kids, they only see who's on TV.
right.
So, and there's so many other jobs that they don't get to see. And I think that if they just spoke with someone who was in the business who said, this is what you do, this is what you need to do, I think they'd be very interested.
Absolutely. Any other words of advice or thoughts you want to share on the idea and growing the program going forward?
No, I think what you said was really great. I think, if anyone's listening and they can reach out to their local high school, I think it'd be very beneficial. Advisors unfortunately change, you know, pretty quickly sometimes. And so that new advisor really probably could use your help and just coming in and talking to them and teaching them, the behind the scenes and what kids need to know and what employers are looking for.
Very good. Well, Jamie, this has been informative, and I'm hoping I can. I'm on the opposite end of the Kansas City Metro from you, but I make it up to the Liberty side every now and then. And if I'm going to be in your neighborhood, I'll drop you a line and
Oh, yeah,
drop
definitely.
in sometime. And as I said, we'll get some images and whatnot to show the people a little bit more about your operation and your facility. I want to thank you for taking a few minutes and joining me on today's SBE Web Extra. And if anybody has any thoughts or comments, send them a note in the comments or send us a note here at the SBE, and we'll see what we can do. Maybe even help someone else help a school create a program of their own.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Jamie. Thanks for watching the SBE Web Extra, the SBE chapter of the web from the Society of Broadcast Engineers, the Association for Broadcast and Multimedia Technology Professionals. Thanks again to Jamie Munoz for joining me today. If you hold SBE certification, viewing the SBE WebXtra qualifies you for 1/2 point in Category G, that's attendance, just like attending a local chapter meeting. If you have an idea for a topic or a guest for the SBE WebXtra, send it to webextra@sbe.org. Thanks again for watching. I'm Chris Scherer, SBE Communications Director, and I'll see you next month.